XAUUSD, popularly known as the gold spot. So I have already been selling the XAUUSD since the beginning of the week, and in fact I have a very interesting position running at this point in time. I think I have about 3 positions running on the XAUUSD as I hope to continue to milk this bearish momentum to the downside. Now, before we go into the details here, I would like to share with you what things are looking like from a holistic perspective so that we can all be on the same page and get ready to maximize the potential of any trading opportunities today. Now, the first thing we are going to be doing here is to scale up into the higher time frame, and there is something here I would love to share with you. Now, if you look at the structure, for those who have been with us since in the last couple of weeks now, you will see that the same setup we had at the beginning of last week still remains the same, only that I had a little bit of tweaks to the current structure. Now, looking at what has been going on here since the last quarter of last year, it is quite clear that price action has been strongly bullish in this market. However, that is not where our center of focus is going to be. Now, if we look at what has been going on in this market since the month of March of this year, you will see that price action appeared to have gradually transitioned into an uptrend continuation pattern in the form of a falling wedge. Now, let me line this up out for you so you can see what I mean here. So you can see how we have a falling wedge at this point in time, where the breakout retest of that resistant line of that wedge will be all we need to capitalize on a bullish momentum. And to further buttress the possibility, the potentials of buyers pushing price to break out of that structure is this 1900 area, which has been a prominent zone for buying power since the month of March this year. As you will see, as soon as price gets into this area, sellers found it difficult to break through. Buyers came in to take over the market. We saw the same thing happen here at the beginning of the month of July. We saw what happened here in the month of August, and in fact, in the last couple of weeks, sellers have been struggling as we saw buy pressure resume around that area. Now, in as much as price remains above this area, it is reasonable that we want to be looking out for buying opportunities with the hopes that this falling wedge will be broken to the upside to further maximize the potential of that bullish move. However, in as much as we're looking out for this buying opportunity, we cannot ignore the potentials that sellers could still come into. Now, to help guide our trading activity for this week, the 1925 zone remains our key level for this week. Remember, this is our key level for last week, and it still remains the same as price still continues to trade around that area. Now, if you know how we use our key level in this community, as long as price remains below the key level, we look out for patterns and structure that supports the idea of selling, while if price breaks out of our key level, we look out for structures that support buying opportunities. Now, in as much as we're looking out for selling opportunities right now, since price remains below that structure, we need to be very, very careful as buyers could still come in at any point in time. Now, let's scale down into the 4 hours time frame. There is a simple setup I have here on the 4 hours time frame, which we shall be using to guide our trading decisions for this week. Now, look at the structure we have on the 4 hours time frame. What I did here was to take into consideration the nature of price action since the month of July. And in fact, since the month of July, price had consistently found lower highs, giving us a sense of bearish expectations in this market. However, something interesting happened in the month of August. As you will see, despite the lower highs we have in this market, price is yet to find a lower low to emphasize the strength of the sellers at this point in time. Now, the lowest point price has gotten to in the last 1 month is the 1885. And every attempt by the sellers to find a new low has been negated by the buyers at the 1900 area. As you will see here, they've been coming into that structure. Buyers have been negating all attempt by the sellers, hereby giving us a higher low. And whenever we notice higher lows on the chart, it's a clear sign that buyers are gradually gaining momentum behind the scenes. Now let's zoom right into what has been going on here in the last couple of weeks. Now the last time price tested the 1900 area was a couple of weeks ago, as you will see here, and in fact we had an impulsive move into the 1947 area. Now, following the Fed's interest rate decision last week, we saw this crash happen, which I was of the opinion initially that this could likely be a retracement of that impulsive move to incite an uptrend scenario. Now, what I did here was to bring out our Fibonacci retracement tool, run it through the previous impulse leg to project where it is likely that the retracement phase will end. And of course, my center of focus is between the 50 and the 78.6% of the previous impulse leg. Now, as long as price remains within the window here, that is between the 1925 and the 1910, and I see buy pressure resumes around this area, it might likely lead to an uptrend continuation of that impulsive move we saw earlier. That is, I think a couple of weeks ago we saw this impulsive move. Now you can see how crucial this moment is in the market, so we need to be very careful. So we're still within that window here. So what I did now was to scale down into the 1 hour time frame, where I wanted to see how the market will be reacting to this window that we have here. Now, scaling down into the 1 hour time frame, things becomes a little bit much more clearer, as you will see right here. So let me zoom into the current structure. So I would like to share with you what I saw at the beginning of the week that incited selling opportunity, despite the fact that we're still within that sell window we identified on the 4 hours time frame. Now, the first thing that happened at the beginning of the week was an indecisive market, as we saw price confined within the $1,926.50 level and the $1,922.75 area, to further emphasize the level of indecision at that point in time. And of course, you know how we use our flag channel in this community. As long as price remains within the range, we exercise patience, waiting for either a breakout of the resistance line or the breakdown of the support line for trading opportunities. And prior to the final breakdown, we saw attempts that sellers were gaining momentum, as we saw breakdown of the structure multiple times before the final breakdown happened here yesterday to incite this strong bearish move to the downside. And since the breakdown of the $1,922.50 level, I have been selling. And for those who took advantage of these opportunities, well done to you, as we currently have about 115 pips running in profit at this point in time. And as a result of this momentum, I had multiple levels like the 1915 and the 1913 area, where we look forward to more selling opportunities, as you will see right here. Now, for those who took advantage of this seller opportunity, well done to you for being on standby to capitalize on that move. So you do definitely want to be moving your stop losses right now to secure the current position. And I'm of the opinion that anywhere between the 1915 and the 1913 area seems most appropriate to secure this current sell position, while we also give enough room for price action to breathe. Now, with the way things are going on right now and with a well-secured position, it is likely that sellers will continue to push price further to the downside. And if you had missed out on the sell positions we've been enjoying since the beginning of the week, there are still more opportunities to play here, as we have the 1910 area, where the breakdown retest of this one right here will also be welcoming more selling opportunities. So you do want to be positioning yourself below that structure. Breakdown retest of that area will also be welcoming more selling opportunities. And in fact, we have a descending trend line, which we are going to be using to guide our trading decisions. As you will see here, since the later part of the New York session, price has been finding lower highs here. So you do want to be marking out this trend line, and as long as price remains below this trend line, we shall feel comfortable in the sell position. Now, in as much as we're looking out for selling opportunities, remember that we normally take into consideration the potentials of buyers in this market. Now, what is it that I'm going to see here that will want me to consider buying the XAUUSD? Now, what I want to be looking out for here is price breaking out of this descending trend line. Now, if this trend line is broken, then we are likely going to be seeing a reversal setup that is likely going to be sending price going to the upside. Now, for me to buy the XAUUSD today, which I doubt will happen, but if it does happen, we want to be looking at the breakout of the 1913, the descending trend line, retest of structure, where we see signs that sellers are finding it difficult to drop back below the descending trend line, then we can join that bullish move, then add more position at the breakout retest of the 1915 level. So this is how we are going to be maximizing a bullish opportunity here in this market. So let's mark this level out, and if price continues to climb, we have the $1,922.75 area, which was broken yesterday. And if price gets into the zone, we want to be very, very careful. Hence, we move all stop losses and secure the buy positions while we wait and see how the market will react to the zone. And of course, if selling pressure resumes around that area and buyers find it difficult to settle above that zone, we will be looking forward to a trend continuation to the downside. However, if price breaks out of the $1,922.75, then we will be looking out for buying opportunities at the signs that sellers are finding it difficult to drop back below the $1,922.75. So this is how we are going to be managing our position on the XAUUSD for today's trading session. So let's mark these levels out on our chart and let's see how the market will be reacting to the zones to determine what our next line of action will be. So these are my views here on the XAUUSD. It's a simple setup. So we currently have a bearish bias going on right now, and we have a descending trend line that we are going to be using to guide our trading decisions today. And as long as price remains below that descending trend line, we shall feel comfortable in the sell positions, and a breakout or a breach of this descending trend line will be welcoming buying opportunities in this market. So these are my views on the XAUUSD. Mark out these levels on the chart and let's wait and see what will be happening during the New York session today. If you have any questions whatsoever as regards to the current setup or my explanation, or you need me to clarify something, feel free to let me know in the comment section.